Once upon a time, in a quiet village surrounded by golden fields and flowing rivers, there lived a man who was always curious about the mysteries of the world. He was not a scholar, nor a philosopher, but he loved to think, to wonder, to question the things around him. One day, as he sat by the river, watching the water dance under the warm sunlight, an idea struck him.
What if I could mix water and oil?
He thought.
What if I could make them one?
It seemed simple enough. After all, they were both liquids. Why shouldn't they blend together? Driven by his curiosity, he rushed home, grabbed a glass bowl, and carefully poured fresh water into it. Then, he took a flask of golden oil and slowly added it to the water. He stirred and stirred, watching the liquid swirl and twist, hoping they would merge into one. But no matter how much he mixed, no matter how long he stirred, the oil always floated back to the top. He frowned. He stirred harder. Still, the oil refused to stay beneath the water.
This doesn't make sense.
He muttered.
They should mix. They are both here, in the same bowl. Why do they refuse to become one?
Determined to prove himself right, he tried everything. He shook the bowl. He let it sit overnight. He even whispered to it, hoping it would listen to reason. But every single time, the same thing happened. The oil and the water would separate again, one sinking, the other rising, as if an unseen force was keeping them apart. Frustrated, the man took his bowl to the village wise man.
Tell me,
he said, holding up the glass.
Why won't these two mix? I have tried everything. They are together in the same space, yet they refuse to become one.
The wise man smiled, as if he had been expecting this question. He gently took the bowl and held it up to the sunlight. The golden oil shimmered on top of the water, unmoved, untouched, floating as if it belonged to the sky itself.
My friend,
the wise man said,
this is the way of truth and falsehood. This is the way of light and darkness. No matter how much you mix them, no matter how much they may seem to blend, they will always separate. Truth will always rise above falsehood, just as oil rises above water.
The man looked at the bowl in his hands, watching as the oil glowed in the sunlight, separate and distinct from the water below. Suddenly, he understood. How often in life do we see truth and falsehood mixed together? Lies dressed as honesty, darkness disguised as light, right and wrong tangled in a way that makes it hard to tell them apart. But no matter how much they seem to blend, in the end, they will always separate. Truth, like oil, will always rise above, and falsehood, like water, will always sink beneath its weight. So when you are faced with a choice, when the world around you seems confusing, remember this. Be like the oil, let truth rise within you. Stand firm in what is right, even when everything around you tries to mix you into something you are not. Now let me ask you, what truths in your life are waiting to rise above the falsehoods? If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more timeless wisdom and powerful life lessons.